Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hooks, Lines, and Hip Hop, episode number 7. Yeah?
Yeah.
Jake? Yeah? Yeah? We're here. I'm Hakeem.
Jacoby.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be doing our year-end list, but first we're going to be doing some news. Jake, start us off, my friend.
All right. A cousin of Kanye West today confirmed that the song Real Friends is about a stolen sex tape.
I don't even get how that song's about a sex tape. Oh, okay, no, I get it. When he talks about the dude who stole his computer.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it is. Hey, bright side is we may get another Kim K sex tape.
I was just going to say, I wouldn't mind another Kim K sex tape. Also, hopefully Kanye is less into putting his face into the sex tape. My God.
It'd probably be more. He would probably want it titled the Kanye sex tape, not the Kim K sex tape.
Call me Walt Disney.
Pull on my blonde hair and call me Steve Jobs. Alright. To some more serious stuff. This actually is, we've talked about this in the past. Kendrick Lamar credited President Obama for allowing hip-hop in the White House. We've had the Common, had the Tiny Desk concert. Chance performed at some outdoor Christmas event at the White House.
Frank Ocean was there, even though he's not really like hip-hop.
I think that speaks volume to the popularity in hip-hop and how it's evolving, and it's not so much as a negative. It used to be when people talk about hip-hop, they looked at it in a negative light. And I think that's starting to kind of change.
Yeah, I think hip-hop always started as more like an urban or an urban art form, and then you've got corporations now clinging more onto hip-hop even. Like when the whole Meek Mill and Drake beef happened, you had all the Twitters going crazy. Mercedes was tweeting about it. Wendy's was tweeting about it. Like, when the fuck would Wendy's ever talk about a hip-hop beef? Like, hip-hop's becoming very commercial.
Yeah. Well, and two, I think that I wouldn't picture, I mean, obviously, starting in January, YG would never be invited to the White House. But I think it's look at the people he's invited. They all have positive messages.
Yeah.
And they're all doing something for their communities rather than people just jumping on it because it's popular. I mean, I know commercialism, they jump to the most popular thing. But for the White House to allow something that has been viewed as so negative in the past is pretty cool. Yeah,
you're saying it's not as contrived as like when Wendy's shouts out like the beat.
Right.
It's more just like he genuinely appreciates the music and the message they're saying. Obama had Lil Wayne and Birdman at the White House in 2008. If you watch the behind the music for Lil Wayne, he talks about them meeting Obama.
Why would he want Birdman anywhere near his family?
Went to the president. Went to the president.
Play boy Obama.
He probably gave him a Bugatti.
Oh my God.
Yep. That's pretty cool though. Yeah, I'm gonna miss Obama. No.
Yeah, we just before the podcast, I was showing Hakeem. If any of y'all watched SNL this past week, Chance was on it and he hosted, and they did a parody of Christmas in Hollis. It was him and Kenan Thompson. Hilarious. It's about Obama leaving, and he's talking about how there will never be another Christmas because he's gone. Yeah. I'll put a link to that in the bottom. I hope you find it as funny as I did.
Yeah, apparently Jesus is a Democrat.
Yep. Watch the video and you'll know.
That part was my favorite.
I'm reading an article here kind of discussing who was the hardest working rapper of 2016. And as I scroll down, I see G-Eazy's face, and that hurts.
No. Maybe tour-wise. I could see him touring a lot. I think when they say hardest working, it's like who's most on tour.
Yeah.
Game.
Well, that's what this is.
Is Game on there?
This is exactly what you're talking about. It's tours.
Yeah, makes sense.
Tory Lanez had 145. G-Eazy had 143. ASAP Ferg 122. Logic 104. Yeah. Fantastic performer.
Yeah.
Young Thug 101, and it has a cartoon drawing of him in the Jeffrey dress. Uzi had 90. Q had 88. Denzel Curry had 85.
You ever heard Denzel Curry?
I've heard Denzel Curry. That's why I was laughing.
Oh. You don't think he could do 85 concerts?
It's shocking that 85 people even went to watch it. Future had 80. Yachty had 77. Drake had 60. Chance had 62. Savage had 57. Kanye had 44, which really should have been like 64, if we're being honest.
Put it into perspective. Future's 80 concerts, 60 of them were with Drake.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then JCole had 23, and Kendrick also had 23. You know, that's a great number there. 23, Jordan, two of the best on this list.
Jump, man. I think if we're talking about album releases, Game would take everybody out. Just because he's insane. Like, whether or not you like the projects or not is a different story, but I think he put out...
And Gucci. He came out... Yeah. He got out in, what, August?
Yeah.
And his drop...
He dropped
3 projects?
3 projects, and then that, like, mosh pit of mixtapes last year.
Yeah.
20... He said it was all, like, hard drive projects. Remember when I was talking about an Atlanta producer who said that when you work with Drake, you're not actually working with Drake? Yeah. And I was like, who is it? Zaytoven. That's what I was thinking of. Zaytoven.
Yeah, true. I could definitely see him saying that.
Yeah, he does the majority of work with Gucci Mane.
Speaking of several different rappers in one perspective, why don't you talk about the MTV2 top 10?
Yes.
C-list.
Yeah. Excuse me. MTV came out with their top 10 list, and this is the order, I guess. Number 10, you got 21 Savage. Number 9, Lil Uzi Vert. Number 8, Kendrick Lamar. Number 7, YG. Number 6, Future. 5 is Young Thug. 4 is Travis Scott. 3 is Chance the Rapper. 2 is Drake. And number 1 is Kanye West.
I mean, I can agree. I honestly, I understand that Uzi and Yachty are popular, but...
Yachty's not even on here. Yachty should... Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking... Sorry, 21
Yeah, you're
Savage.
thinking 21 Savage.
Uzi and 21, they're both popular, regardless of what I think of them. But they wouldn't have been on my top 10 list. The other ones make sense, though.
Yeah, I think Charlemagne was the one who was in charge of this list. Like, he was the main curator. It's like a round table discussion, and they kind of vote on it. It was really popular more so in like mid 2000s, and Lil Wayne was on number 1 on that list for so long.
Yeah, because Sway used to be part of it too, didn't he?
Yeah, it was. I think it had a lot more credibility back then than it does now. Not saying it's just like this list is not controversial in any way, really. I mean,
no.
You can easily look at this list and say the reason why these people are chosen is because they're popular.
Yeah.
The only person that I think you could argue for I would put Lil Yachty in this list, and I would I could see taking out like Lil Uzi Vert
or YG.
YG had Still Brazy, and Still Brazy's a pretty good album.
It is, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he definitely could be seen as more like maybe like an overall good.
What's crazy is that Kendrick is on there,
and he's number 8.
Well, I can see why he's 8 because he had one release this year, which was Untitled, Unmastered. Yeah, but that one 8-project album.
Oh yeah.
Or 8-track album has him on this list solely because of that.
I think if they didn't, though, they would get backlash for it.
Yeah,
like the same thing with if they didn't put Drake on here.
Yeah. And to be clear, this was done before For Your Eyes.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it was.
JCole will definitely be on this next year.
Yeah, JCole, if they do it next year.
Yeah.
I mean, this one didn't seem to have as much traction as like back in the days.
No, I remember the last one I remember hearing a lot about was when Kanye released, was it Cold Summer?
I think the one,
the Good Music Collaborative, and he was pissed off at Sway and Charlemagne because Cruel Summer because he didn't put Kanye higher, and
Drake too when he said on 5 a.m. in Toronto.
Yeah. So that's the last one I remember being controversial, but that's been 2 years. I don't even remember who was on it the year before, and then the year after that. So
I mean, you can always just say who's the most popular at the time. They're gonna put him on there. Yeah. Although I think Drake should be number 1. Not saying I don't. I mean, I think Kanye is number 1 is not a bad choice. It's just if this list is all about numbers and popularity, there's nobody touching Drake.
No.
I think
they could have put Adele on this list higher than some of these people. We're rating it by success of album.
Yeah, though who's on here higher than I probably would have put him was Young Thug. Not because he's not because I don't like him. I love Young Thug, but number 5, I think his influence is seen more than the numbers because he does like
Jeffrey. I mean, Jeffrey was big, but it had a lot of hype behind it because of the delay.
He only gets like 28,000 like record sales wise. Yeah. It doesn't do like huge numbers like Drake's streaming like
a billion.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Put Weekend on here too.
Yeah,
should do like a top 10 most like sellers, biggest sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a list. I don't think it's anything really controversial. I think it's just who's really popular at the time.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go into our top 10 albums. I'll let Hakeem start.
Oh, boy. Okay, so...
Hold on, before we start, are you going to put them in order? Because mine are not in order. I'm going to tell you my favorite, and then I'm just going to give you the other 9.
I'm going to let you bitch out and not put them in order, but mine are in order.
Okay.
Mine are 10 through 1, and I'm going to say the way I ordered them was based on what I was listening to most and what I genuinely feel like had the most replay value for me. If this were, I honestly could have done top 15.
I could have too.
Yeah, like, there was a lot of good music. The problem is December just hit us so hard, and it was such good music in 1 month. I was like, Jesus Christ. It was harder to go back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll start off. All right, I'm going to do honorable mentions first.
Okay.
I got Young Thug's Jeffrey. I like, he did a lot of creative things on that album.
I like the way they were titled.
Yeah.
And the way he rapped kind of reflected to the title.
Not only that, I think he was saying the reason why he titled it the way it did, except for the Harambe title, I think that was a troll. But it was one of the hardest tracks on there, so I wasn't that mad at it, because I loved what he did with his voice, going ape shit, so to speak. I think that's the reason why I called it that. But yeah, he said it was people that influenced him. And then he even had some of the people that were, like Wyclef was on the album, but not on his name. And Rihanna was on there as well. But yeah, he titled as people who were influencing him. I also got Royce da 5'9's Layers. It's just a really good storytelling album. And the only reason why I don't put that one on my list is because I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like something that I'm going back to as much. It's something that like I have to be in the mood to listen to it. JCole's For Your Eyes Only.
It's an honorable mention.
It's an honorable mention. I gave it a 9 when we reviewed it, but I really like the album, but I haven't had as much time to sit with it, and it's definitely more of like a mood project. It's something that you put on and you only listen to, and I think it's like a downtime kind of listen for me. It's not something I'm going to always be playing in the car necessarily, even though I heard Jalen rolling in listening to it. But he'll listen to anything.
We missed this in the news. Apparently all the songs from that album are in the top 40.
Yeah, I think that has to do with streaming. I think that's the power of streaming, because the streaming numbers are also put into effect with the top 40. So, yeah, it's one of the most talked about albums, whether or not people loved it. But yeah, it's an honorable mention for me. Like, again, this could have easily been 10B or like number 11 on my list, just because I haven't sat with it as much. I really loved it first listen, but the key thing is like a lot of these albums I put on here either like stood the test of time or were just so infectious and catchy to listen to I couldn't not play them. Another one I had was Drake's Views.
Right.
And I was telling you, Drake, or Jake, this is gonna be album of the year for me back when it dropped. Yeah. But I still go back and listen to If You're Reading This more. I'll go back and listen to What a Time, To Be Alive When I'm in the Gym. Like, it just doesn't have as much. Like, the whole project overall isn't as great to me as If You're Reading This, which is one of my favorites, honestly. But I'll get into my list now. I got Birds in the Trap by Travis Scott, number 10. Absol Do What Thou Wilt as number 9. Which is actually the one that kicked Drake out. Yeah. That's a good album. It's a good album. Number 8, I got Skepta's Konnichiwa. Number 7, I got Floss by Injury Reserve. Number 6, I got Elzhi's Lead Poison. 5, I got The Life of Pablo.
You went hipster on this.
No, I don't know if I went hipster. Number 4, I got Rage in the Machine by Joe Budden. Number 3, I got Free Black by Black.
Wow.
Yeah, very good album. Number 2, I got Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying by Kid Cudi. Thank you, Kid Cudi, for finally getting off your weird experimental horse and just putting the shrooms down for 5 minutes and saying, hey, remember Man on the Moon Part 2? Let's do that again with some hot-ass features and some great fucking lines and some nice psychedelic beats and not crooning like a bitch or trying to be black like Nirvana. Thank you. I love this album.
You didn't like that butthead.
He had the we're not gonna talk. We can do a whole nother fucking podcast for Speeding Boat to Heaven.
What we're gonna do today? Because slapper monkeys.
God, I don't know, butthead. I think this album's kind of shit. Yeah, you're right. It is shit. God. Number one. Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino.
I knew that was coming. You already said that.
I did.
So, let's go down and talk about the albums a little bit, each one.
What I was thinking, you give me your list now, and then we'll go back and forth.
All right. Because some of them, well, there were not many that were the same, honestly.
I mean,
I'm going to give you my top, which was Coloring Book.
Oh, God.
I'll give you a little backstory on this album. I got married on May the 13th. Me, Hakeem, and some other friends of ours, Jalen was there. We had the wedding at Folly Beach. We were there like 3 days before the wedding and stayed there for the week. Kind of had a little vacation before the wedding.
It was awesome.
And he put out the single of No Problem. We loved it. Well, the night comes out. We're having a rehearsal dinner. And I was not thinking about the wedding, which sounds terrible. But I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow, which was get married. I'm thinking about this album is going to drop at midnight. And Hakeem's screwing me the whole night. Dude, it's not going to drop. Well, it's like right around 10 now. That's kind of become the trend, right at 10 to drop the album for the next day. Right. And we kept looking at it. It didn't come out. It came out like a few minutes after 10. Well, I look on his Twitter, and it says Coloring Book for sale now. So I look at it, and I'm thinking, he's been hanging out with he's really selling coloring books on his website because it was supposed to be titled Chance 3. Well, I pulled it up on my laptop and saw that it was an album on Apple Music. Well, I'm like fucking psyched. So I was like, I'm just to screw over Hakeem. He's messing with me all night about this. I'm gonna go out there and be like. So we went and played a trick on him. We walk out. I said, dude, he's selling a coloring book, not an album. And he just kind of looked at me like, what? And we clicked on it, and it was the album. We listened to it like 7 times that night.
Yeah.
That when it came out, we brought my laptop and a speaker up to the roof of the beach house.
Yeah.
We had cigars and whiskey.
They were
awesome.
Both fucking trash, though. Not the album, the cigars and the whiskey.
Yeah, the whiskey wasn't good.
Thank you, Brian, for the shittiest goddamn cigars and whiskey. Which, by the way, we never drank. No. I hope he hears this podcast.
No, we dumped it out. We took one sip and it was like drinking gasoline.
But it was
okay. So that's number one. I didn't have them in order, so I'm gonna go from there. Which 2 of these are actually more R&B. They're not rap. Mm-hmm. Anderson .Paak's Malibu. Yeah. For Your Eyes by JCole. Okay. Life of Pablo was on there. Okay. Untitled, Unmastered. Okay. Views was on there, and when we get into why I put these on here, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
He had a bit more of like there had to be some sort of merit for them to be on your list.
I have an objective, because I didn't really care for views, but I have an objective view of views, and we'll talk about that here soon. So I said views, Coloring Book I already mentioned. DJ Khaled's Major Key, which he was kind of giving me shit for before we started.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I just put on...
that one is also viewed in the same light as Views. I'll talk about that. Kid Cudi's album, which you already mentioned. And the Hamilton mixtape, which me and Jalen did. We'll mention why that was there, too. Okay. Honorable mentions was Birds in the Trap. I really like that one. That one was battling the DJ Khaled. And I will speak to why it beat it out.
I'm mad over here. I just don't know.
Don't be mad.
I mean, I am a little bit.
Okay. So, we'll do the ones that were similar.
Yeah.
You had Life of Pablo on yours, right?
Yes. Okay. That was number 5.
Let's talk about that first.
I think that was just a very creative album. And the key thing for me, there was some merit for that one being so high on my list, is I have a friend named Nate, when the album dropped, I was fangirling over it hard. And he was like, I'm not really like a big Kanye fan. And he kind of just listens to music casually. Like, I think in order for you to say you like Kanye, you either have to really like love his sound or have been following him for a while or just like the singles. And I told him, I said, listen to The Life of Pablo. And everybody who I introduced this album to it was hooked on it for at least the first 2 weeks when it came out. And I think it just spoke to the fact that he went from making a very polarizing album like Yeezus to making The Life of Pablo, which people liked. There was a lot of elements of, like, there was a little bit of trap in there with the designer features, and there was some pop.
Threw in some Yeezus with Freestyle 4.
Yes, and oh my god, there was another one, another track on there produced by Travis Scott that I thought was so hard, and then he kind of remastered it a little bit.
Well, see, I mentioned that.
Yeah,
in part of mine. People kind of criticized him, saying that he's doing this for attention, how he kept changing the album.
Right.
But it sounds different. Like, once you listen to it on the radio adds an effect. Mm-hmm. And when you hear it not in your studio, you hear stuff and you're like, I could have made that better. Or your review on music changes and you want to say, oh, I want to add this. Right. Like, even there were so many subtle changes. I'm trying to think of the song. He added, like, some choir background vocals, and it made the song so much better.
I'm going to pull up the track list, because I think I know which one you're talking about.
But I'll talk about why The Life of Pablo was so popular. It started with his name changes, which anything Kanye does gets criticized. We've talked about this in the past. I don't really want to get into that.
I almost think he you remember, I don't know if you saw this, before the album came out, he was on Twitter, and he just put out #TLOP.
Yeah, what does it stand for?
And he said that whoever can guess it gets a pair of Yeezys.
Yeah.
It was, and somebody guessed The Life of Pablo. I almost think he put out the acronym just to see what was a dope... Maybe a dope title could be.
Well, he does compare himself, as he does these
Pablo
wild
Picasso,
comparisons. Yeah.
Walt Disney.
Gucci compared himself to Pablo. Gucci made Picasso because I paint on their face. Anyway, so everything he does is under such a microscope, and everything he does is so in the news. In
Feedback was the song.
Yeah, that's right.
I love that.
So, the name changes were kind of controversial and brought a lot of light to it. It started with "So Help Me God," and then it turned to "Waves," which brought its own controversy with the Wiz Khalifa beef and everything that brought on.
Yeah. I made your child.
Yeah.
God.
So that made it a lot popular. I actually wrote a review of it the night I heard it. I downloaded Tidal because Kanye told me to. So download Tidal. I do a free subscription, and I am watching the Easy Season 3.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and it didn't have all the songs on there yet because Waves wasn't finished, so it wasn't even on there. And I was so hyped to listen to that. Yeah. Like, I was so excited to hear it. And then another thing that really made that album a success and made it really popular was Chance's verse in Ultralight Beam, which built hype for his album that was coming.
He said that was supposed to be the last track. Chance said that, which I thought would have almost changed the mood of the album a little bit.
Yeah, it would have.
But it was still...
I liked it as the first track.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was cool.
And I like that Kanye didn't make him say, "We'll change that line so people don't know." Right. That kind of gave insight to the creative process.
I think it was a bit of a... It's like, in a good way, it's a clusterfuck of an album, though.
Yeah.
It's so all over the place. I don't mean that in a negative way. Because, I mean, you could kind of almost throw the album on shuffle and listen to everything. Like, there's no real... There's not a huge effect on listening to it out of order.
And I think part of... I would like to believe that he didn't change the names just to build up hype. I honestly think that he had that title and wanted to make music related to that title, and then his view changed or his perspective or inspiration changed, but he didn't want to throw away the work he did. I mean, this is kind of abstract, but Pablo Picasso's art was a lot like that. Yeah. He had mosaics and paintings, and not all of his stuff looks the same. So that also could have tied into the title. I don't want to discredit your idea.
No. I mean, I think the good thing about Kanye's album naming it The Life of Pablo is he leaves it open-ended. Yeah. Like, that, the argument you have for it being named after Pablo Picasso is great. Like, I could see that. I didn't even think about that, but that's really cool.
So it opens up a lot of conversation.
But then some people are like, oh, he's comparing himself to Pablo Escobar. And then if you think about it, you could argue for that too. Pablo Escobar is like was kind of loved by his people, but he was seen as a bad guy by others, and he was very successful, and he was a polarizing figure in the same way that Kanye's a polarizing figure. So you can argue for it either way, which is cool. And even if it is a marketing scheme, it's fine.
It's working.
Everybody does it. Game did the rap beef with Meek Mill, and I told you it's more WWE now than ever anyways.
Pest control.
So,
such a funny intro to a music video.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
So,
if you guys haven't seen that, go watch it.
That was our only one in common, which I didn't expect that.
I don't know. Like I said,
a lot of your honorable mentions were on my list.
Yeah.
And then Birds was on my honorable mention that was in yours. Yeah. So go through yours and talk about why you liked each one.
I put Birds in the Trap was like not my least. It's one of my favorite albums, but it's just lower on my list because it was coming off the hype of Rodeo, which I don't think
it got better every time I listened to it. Like every time I listen to it, I don't know, I like it better.
Yeah, I get the mood more of what he's trying to do on Birds, but I still think it is kind of like Rodeo B-sides, especially Wonderful. Everybody knew that was a Rodeo B-side because it came out like a few months after Rodeo came out, and he just kind of put it out there with A-Team, which I would have rather had A-Team on there, because A-Team is like, oh god, that's such a good song. But I like Travis is infectious. I can't help but throw this album on.
You said it before on one of the episodes. He is the master of melody, which I think is so true.
I thought that, but I think he might be co-master with Kid Cudi. Because when Kid Cudi's on his shit, and I think that's why they collaborate. Like, Kid Cudi doesn't... I don't think... I mean, he collaborates with people, but there's a very small camp of people. And they both mess with Kanye, so... True. That makes sense. But, yeah, I love the vibe of that album. And like you said, once I listened to it more and more, I started to appreciate it more. And I put the idea of the it's not as good as Rodeo to the back burner a little bit, and I just appreciated this album for what it was. And I love the Andre 3000 feature on the first track.
I was confused at first. I didn't know that he started changing his name on music.
Yeah, Andre Benjamin.
I said, what?
Yeah.
And then when I heard it, I was like, nope, that's 3000.
He sounds a bit like, I don't know, he had like a younger sound on one of the
Nobody believes me. Andre 3000 has to be working on an album.
I still don't believe you. I don't think it's happening.
He's done too many features to not be doing that.
I'm telling you, I think Erykah Badu said this in an interview. Not every artist needs an album. If Andre keeps going on this track where he's on the hottest album and he's always got a hot verse or he's got a really good hook, I'm not. I mean, I would love an Andre 3000 album because he hasn't done anything by himself, but if he doesn't do it, I'm not mad at it because I'm still hearing his name a lot in popular music.
You just want to go back and forth between albums?
Yeah. Okay. Let me see yours.
I'll explain why I had Malibu on there. This album was put out really early in the year.
It was.
January 15th.
Yeah.
And we all know that everybody that liked hip-hop and R&B was missing Frank Ocean. And this dude kind of filled the hole that was Frank Ocean, because I wouldn't say they have the same vibe, but they are very individualistic and have a really unique voice.
I think also, not to cut you off, but like Anderson .Paak embraced the old school sound. Like,
definitely,
he's got so many old school influences, and that throwback sound and his voice, even the way he performs. You and I went and saw him at the Earl Sweatshirt concert. He dances around and he's like just so sensual and
I was disappointed
so fun
that I didn't know him more before we went, because he was awesome.
Yeah, he was.
We went and saw him. It was in
2015.
Met him too. Yeah, we met him.
Crazy.
We'll put pictures up. We both have pictures with him.
Yeah, that was cool. I look like a crackhead in my picture, but I was so excited.
Well, to be fair to both of us, we were front row.
Yeah.
And it was pretty hot and pretty sweaty.
Yeah. I was deaf for about 2 days.
Yeah. Awesome performer. The
yeah.
only single that was out really by him that was pretty popular was Suede, and that was the single he had out with his DJ Knowledge, and they have a group called No Worries, which they had an album come out, which I really should have been on my honorable mentions. It was pretty good. Yes, Lord. And I thought it was good. Yeah. He's an awesome producer, and he's actually been working with Earl Sweatshirt, if you follow either of them on social media.
I can't wait for him to put out an album.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
So that's why I put him on there. I don't know. I really like that album. Suede wasn't on it. It was on their collaboration album, but his solo album was very good.
Did you like Malibu more than you liked the No Worries album? Like, okay. And I haven't, I don't know why. I like No Worries vibe, and I think Anderson .Paak is extremely talented, but for some reason they're just not in my rotation as much.
I don't know. I think the reason it was so important to me was because there was no Frank Ocean. And I bet I've listened to Channel Orange. God, I would hate to tell you how many times I've listened to
Blonde
that.
came and went.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That came out this year.
Yeah.
And I like some songs.
So I was searching for that, but newer.
And you found it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at that. He's an awesome performer. And I hope he continues to make music the way he does. Because, again, he fills that void of nostalgia that we desperately
need. And when we were there, he had been on Dr. Dre's album. Dr. Dre's album was out for 1 week, Compton. It was out for 1 week before we went. And he was on like 4 or 5 tracks. So he really blew up in like no time in our perspective. Because we went, saw him, didn't know who he was. Then a month later, he was on Breakfast Club, Hot 97. So it was kind of cool to watch that from our perspective.
Yeah, it was awesome. Number 9 for me was Absol, Do What Thou Wilt.
Yes. And
it's kind of the same thing with Kid Cudi, except I wasn't as passionately pissed off at Absol.
Yeah.
Absol put out These Days, and he put that out in 2014, and it wasn't as much himself as Control System was. Like, Absol has this thing where he's always referring to government conspiracies and stuff like that. Like, he's got this song Control System called Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
Got me harder than sneaking a bitch into the Bohemian Grove. Like, I just love that little... And that's like an all-male club where supposedly all the most powerful people in the world go. And he's always talking about third eye type shit and just being conscious. And I like Absol because when you listen to his music... It's like reading a book, and it's challenging.
And it was hard. There was, like you said, there was so much stuff that came out in December.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to listen to the Haji album.
Yeah.
And then take albums off that I had already done. So it was kind of hard. That would probably have definitely made the list if it was earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I know me and you both talked about, hopefully in January, we're going to review the Absol album.
Yeah.
And
Kid Cudi's album.
Definitely.
I mean, spoiler alert, we like them both.
Yeah.
But... I thought it was a really good album, and again, I think it's more of a proper sequel to Control System, which if you guys haven't listened to Control System, that's one of my favorite albums.
And Top Dog, they're very, very anal about what they let come out of their label.
Exactly.
That sounded gross. Anyway, he is very picky. And
he is up their ass about what comes out.
Which we're going to talk about Top Dog a little later. Why don't we move on?
Yeah.
So he keeps a close eye on what comes out.
He does. And again, that one would have been... I think Absol's album could have easily been in my top 5. But the problem is my top 5 is composed of either just albums that I play in my car...
Yeah.
Or are just so damn melodic that I can't deny their greatness.
Yeah. So that was your turn, right?
Yes, this is your turn.
Okay, now we're going to talk some more about Top Dog.
Yes.
Untitled Unmastered was on here, and I thought it was really cool because I liked the Unmastered sound and how it sounded raw. It speaks to the power of celebrity because LeBron James... He either tweeted Kendrick or tweeted Top Dog and said, I want some new Kendrick. Like a fucking week later, here this album is. And it was like a direct response to him. So it does speak to how important and how influential celebrity voices are.
Yeah.
Which I also thought it was cool. It gave an insight to the creative process that was To Pimp a Butterfly. And a lot of the sampling and the beats sound so much like the album.
He did Untitled Unmastered, the second song he did on Colbert's last show.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I got so excited.
There were 2 actually on the Colbert show.
That's right, there were.
The one it goes like, what does the white man say? What does
that
the
was the
Asian man
second
say?
one?
Was it?
That one, and I just loved that song
Yeah.
a lot when I heard it, and it got me very excited for the album. That was just the memorable.
Yeah, because because that came out way before this whole LeBron stuff. That was out before To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah, it came out last year before To Pimp a Butterfly came out, and I thought that song was gonna be on To Pimp a Butterfly.
And then when it wasn't, I was going, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was kind of bummed
And
out.
it was weird because it was titled Unmastered. He didn't have a name for it when he performed it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool to see inside of a creative process that usually we wouldn't see from an artist that big.
Yeah. Do you play that album a lot?
I play Levitate a lot.
Levitate, yeah.
And then the second one, and then what was the other one? Sick of tired of being tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, no, I don't listen to it a lot, but I do like those few songs.
Yeah.
I just liked it for what it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like it because of that. It was kind of an unfinished sound. But me, I make music and I can appreciate that process of the music making process. So that was why it was important to me.
I think that one just wasn't in my honorable mentions because it was very early in the year, and even when it came out, it was only 8 tracks. Yeah, it was only 8 tracks, and I didn't listen to it as much. Like I would rather go back and listen to Pimp a Butterfly or Good Kid, Mad City, especially Good Kid, Mad City. I could definitely still listen to that one.
Yep.
Cover to cover. It's a great album. Number 8 for me was Skepta's Konnichiwa, and the reason why I like that one is because it's a push for the grime sound to enter to the United States, and that one came out the day when we were driving down to the beach.
Okay.
For your wedding.
No, he's the guy from Europe, right?
Yeah.
He played me some of his stuff.
And his rhymes are very aggressive, and that's the whole point of grime. If you guys haven't listened to grime, it reminds me of drill music from Chicago, but in London, and it's like very violent lyrics, and it's almost got more just EDM kind of funky, just synths used in the beats. I really love that. And
we're gonna put. I know not a lot of people have heard of him. We're gonna put both of our lists by name in the description, so you'll be able to look up these albums.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that one because again, and also the thing about grime is the accent turns people off.
Yeah, it does.
When
I listened to it, I could hear it, but it didn't bother me.
Exactly.
But I knew that other people would hear it and be like, I don't care for that, and just move on.
But I think the thing is, it's not strong enough to where it would completely turn you off. You might still not like it, but it's a lot more accessible than some other grime artists. If you're not really used to that sound. Yeah. So I like that album, man. Very good. And also Drake is signed with them. He does some sort of distribution deal with Skepta's group too, so I think the Drake look helped a lot.
Well, speaking of Drake, we'll move on to views. We talked about it before a few minutes ago that I had this in a more objective light.
Yeah.
You can't overlook the numbers for this album.
Yeah.
He's not I wouldn't say Drake's not a favorite of mine, but Views is not a favorite Drake project at all, in my opinion. Had huge singles. Hotline Bling, dominated the charts forever, and it's still on the radio.
One Dance was his first number 1.
Yeah. It broke records.
Yeah.
It's the highest selling hip-hop record of 2016 as of December 5th. I don't think anybody else this year will come close to that. I know JCole's album was big, but
he's not
Drake is worldwide.
Yeah.
JCole is more centralized here in the States.
Yeah.
It was the highest selling album of all 2016, second to Adele. So that speaks volumes to how well the album performed. Had over 1 billion on-demand stream requests. So that is Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, just the streaming websites. That doesn't include iHeartRadio or Pandora, any of the radio.
That speaks to the power of Apple.
Yes.
I think, more than anything.
Apple
not
Music.
Discrediting Drake.
I'm just going to say this. The FBI ain't listening. Apple Music has saved so many artists from me pirating their music. I can't tell you the last album I illegally downloaded thanks to Apple Music. So, shout out Apple Music.
Streaming in general, but it's fuck the artist.
Yeah.
They don't make nearly as much money. The internet kind of fucked the artist to begin with. As soon as you could download as soon as you could pirate an album. I'm not gonna say I have or haven't.
I wouldn't say they're hurting though.
I mean, I may have gotten Kanye's collection just off somewhere. It was downloaded.
Hey, he uses Pirate Bay, so he cannot
use Pirate Bay. Pirate Bay and LimeWire gave your computer AIDS.
And I will. Hey, my computer has done perfectly fine, and it has so much Pirate Bay content on it. We will not be putting a link to Pirate Bay in the bottom.
Don't go there. We're not saying you should pirate albums.
No.
Pay for a subscription,
yes.
or just go on Spotify and suffer through the commercials.
This is how I rationalize Apple Music. I bought at least one album a week.
Oh yeah.
Or a month.
Yeah.
And I'm paying $9.99
to listen to
all albums. So anyway,
okay.
I like the Take Care sound better, but I can't overlook the views or the success Views had. Yeah. And as of December 5th, Views was 4 times platinum. Huge.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The only reason why it wasn't on my top 10 is probably just because, like I said, Absol came out, and I really liked that album. And even though I haven't had time to sit with it, listening to the album, I knew I can go back to it. I can't go back to Views, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're like the singles were just so mainstream and radio. I'm tired of hearing them.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I think he pushed more life back.
Yeah. Drake
knows when to back off a little bit, which is fine with me.
All right, what's your next one?
I'm doing. This episode might be a little bit longer. Is that all right?
Yeah.
You gonna do that?
I don't care.
All right, we're gonna do a little bit longer podcast. Sorry if you guys don't listen to the end. I mean, we won't be offended, but we
honestly won't know.
We won't know.
Hey, if you want to illegally download this, go to YouTube to MP3 downloader, and you can listen to it anywhere without using your data.
Bootleg the fuck out of it. We're not
care. Making money.
No, we're not.
Okay, so go to your next one.
Yeah, I had Injury Reserve Floss, and
you told me about this like 2 weeks ago.
Woo! This is
look it up.
Hard as shit. It's 3 guys from Arizona. They did last year. They put out an album. I found it on Tidal when I paid for Tidal. It's fucking expensive, Tidal, dude. Oh, fuck Tidal.
They missed their shot to sell that, but anyway.
Yeah, they did. But anyways, I saw they had this live at the dentist office, and it was called that because one of the guy's grandfathers let him record in their dentist office.
That is amazing.
It's so crazy. And they're really cool. They have like reminiscence. They just have like hints of like 2006, like just crazy, almost just upbeat rap. I don't know if have you ever heard of like Clips?
Yes. Pusha T.
No. I'm sorry, not Clips. Clipping. Sorry.
That sounds like something sexual.
No, it's not sexual.
Me and my boy were caught clipping last night. That sounds like an Urban Dictionary explanation.
Hey, if you guys look it up on Urban Dictionary,
got me all hyped up on Malice and Pusha T.
No, it's. I mean, honestly though, the subject matter could be similar to that, except not as emphasis on drugs. But it's a really sick album. It's very upbeat. They've got like tracks like Oh Shit, where the hook is just that oh shit, and just his voice, like he's got this like grimy delivery with his voice, and it's a fun album to listen to in the car, but it's also lyrical, and their lower tone tracks have jazz influences to them, which I'm a fan of immediately. So you've got a good balance of lyrics, catchy hooks, and hip hop, like the show. Hooks, lines, and hip hop all there in the Floss album. I'm down with it, so definitely check it out. Thank you, Pusha T. What's your next piece?
My next one was some more explanation on Coloring Book. I know we started with our top.
Yeah.
I actually remember, I know this is a big thing. Like, a lot of people say, like, where were you when this happened? Where were you when whatever? I remember where I was when I downloaded Acid Rap.
Wow.
I was in, you had Miss Shonar.
Yeah.
I was in her class, using my phone when I wasn't supposed to be, downloaded Acid Rap. Never heard of the dude before. I didn't listen to. I didn't hear about 10 Day, which most Chance fans didn't.
No.
Not
until after rare. Acid Rap. Yeah. You kind of go back.
So I heard Acid Rap and fucking fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So nothing since Acid Rap. I mean, he had Acid Rap and then put out Surf, which was the project with Social Experiment and Donnie Trumpet, which was a dope album. But it was kind of in between Acid Rap and coloring book.
Yeah.
So he'd been promoting Chance 3 sort of through shows. I know there was a show he came out, did all new stuff. Nobody knew what it was. And he said Chance 3 and dropped the mic and left.
Yeah, all he even said was just third mixtape.
Yeah.
And then just left.
So then it got the name of Chance 3, and he promoted it as Chance 3. He wears the hat with the 3 on it.
Yeah.
So it had so much hype, and it didn't let me down at all. At first I heard it, and I was like, this is really different. But by the second listen, I really got into it. I like the... we already mentioned the wedding and how influential and memorable it was for that. But the replay value... this is embarrassing to say. I don't think that I have gone a day without listening to that album.
I believe it. We listened to it till about 3 a.m. that night when it dropped. Like, it was insane. And it did not stop going. Like,
No.
We played it constant rotation. There was no recess. Like, it was just all...
The
so I
quality
could
of the
that.
features...
I did love the
The
features.
2 Chainz verse, the Lil Wayne verse was
Lil
awesome.
Yachty and Young Thug, that
Future.
mixtape.
Future had the best flex of 2016. He says, "Hear my chain." He's talking about his chains jingling, and you can hear his chains through the microphone. And while you're listening to it, it's like the biggest flex of 2016. But the quality of the features was amazing. I don't know. That's my top. I like the gospel themes. Being raised in the South. My parents grew up Baptist. We kind of moved into Southern Baptist, and so I kind of have some influence in gospel music. So that was pretty cool to see him go. My mom loves him because she loves Kirk Franklin, and Kirk Franklin was on the album. One of the really good features. That one I think had the coolest features. It was T-Pain, Kirk Franklin, and No Name Gypsy.
Yeah.
Fire.
Her mixtape should have been on my list, honestly.
Telephone.
I'm mad I didn't put that one on.
I toyed with that one a little. But his progression has just... 10 Day you could tell was kind of recorded shittily. But it was still...
he did it in the public library.
Yeah. Then Acid Rap came, and it was better. And he kind of had this weird flow. Kind of like Gambino, did their own thing and paved their own lane and stuck with it. And then to this, where he's commercial but not commercial.
Yeah.
And he does a lot for his community. I could talk about this forever. We'll just move on to yours.
The only reason why I didn't put Coloring Book on mine is I think I loved Acid Rap so much that it would have been really hard for him to hit the mark for me with Coloring Book. And I like Coloring... First of all, he got Jay Electronica out of his cave to rap again. Oh man, I love that feature. But this is kind of embarrassing. As much as I love Jay Electronica, I was going bananas. And I was like, did you hear that Jay Electronica rap? And Jake goes, that was Chance. And I was like, what? So they sounded really similar on that track, which I thought was really cool. And I also love No Problem. I think that's one of the best songs of the year. Just because it's such a feel good song. And he got Lil Wayne even to
He's
rap
talking
a
about
little bit.
real rap problems. How labels don't work with each other. How if you're on a label and you collaborate with somebody else, you don't make any money. He mentions in the song, labels tell me to my face that they own my friends.
Yeah.
So he's talking about a real problem. And I thought it was really cool that it got so much commercial success. He had a...
got the Kit Kat commercial now, too.
Well, you know how No Problem got on the radio? He did this... I had to find it again. It's way, way down on his Twitter now. He had a software developer make this software for Twitter. You clicked on it, and it used your location services on your phone and found out where you were. Then it would send a tweet to that radio station automatically and said, hey, play this song, No Problem, by Chance the Rapper. That's how he got on the radio.
That's awesome. He takes, the old school mentality of, back in the days when people would listen, where radio would break records, where people would call in and incessantly and ask for a request a song and, gave it a new tech twist. That's pretty cool.
All right, what's your next one?
I'm going to talk about... Well, we already talked about The Life of Pablo enough, I think, because... that's a great album. But another one for me was Rage in the Machine. That's Joe Budden's album, which most people find Joe Budden to be corny. He's overly emotional. He let Drake turn into the man that he almost was. A lot of things. But this album... and if you guys haven't heard of Slaughterhouse, he's a part of Slaughterhouse, which is kind of is Eminem's proteges pretty much.
Yeah, it's like an imprint of Slaughterhouse.
Slaughter Gang or
Yeah.
not Slaughter Gang. That's
is
21 Savage. Shit.
What is the record that he? Because he was with 50 Cent for a little while.
Yeah.
It's an Eminem imprint.
Yeah, he was signed to Jay-Z for a while, and then they kind of had a falling out because Joe Budden's a really outspoken person, but Slaughterhouse, the main premise is like they're all great rappers. Joel Ortiz is a great rapper. Royce the 5'9".
Yellow, I don't know.
Yellow Wolf's not in there.
Yeah, is he not?
No.
Okay, I was about to say that is blasphemy what you just said.
No, he's garbage. But the rest of them are great. And with this album, if you listen to All of Lost, which came out last year, All of Lost was more of an emotional album. It was almost too telling, I felt like, unless you're very invested in Joe Budden's story, which a lot of people from our generation I don't feel like are. But this album is just great if you just want really good raps, and he's doing a lot more of just this like underground, just straight spitterific sound. The only song I don't like on there was the radio hit that he had, the radio grab, I would say. It was pandering to the mainstream. Was Flex with Tory Lanez and Fabulous. I don't know what the fuck Fabulous is doing, but whatever he's doing, he needs to stop. He's a great rapper. Why the fuck are you singing with auto-tune? I don't need that from Fabulous.
No, there's too much of that.
Exactly. And Joe Budden, he just raps his ass off on this. And he's got a really good delivery. I love his voice, too. So, and A-Rap Music does all the production. And it's a great listen. It's a great listen. It's a fun album to listen to.
All right. You want to move on to mine? You want to laugh now before I say it?
I might. Okay. I'm not going to guarantee.
Major Key. Laugh.
Shit
Came out July. It was not a shit album.
Oh, excuse me.
All right. I'm going to tell you, this was a objective view as well with views. I usually despise Kendrick albums. I think
Kendrick?
No. So,
he said he despises Kendrick album. Roast his ass on Twitter.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I usually despise Khaled albums, and this is why. If there was ever a definition for culture vulture, DJ Khaled. I understand he was popular from Terror Squad.
Yeah.
He jumps to all these hot rappers.
I don't think it's culture vulture with him. I think it's just his name is bigger than his ability. So you're just kind of thinking of him as a talentless hack who just buys beats and says DJ Khaled.
Yes, and like you said,
finger licking.
Like you said about Drake not really working with people when he collaborates.
Yeah.
He literally had it on his Snapchat where he's like, "Oh, we just got the Drake verse emailed to us." So it's like he's just a man with money.
I heard he doesn't even make a lot of the beats. Either.
No, he pays people to do his shit for him.
Yeah.
And he puts out an album that has his name all over it, and he makes all this fucking money off of other people's talent. That's my beef I have with DJ Khaled.
So you still like Major Key though?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because usually it's like with the other one, Kiss the Ring. What was the other one? No New Friends was on it. He just hops to the latest style and stuck with it. I liked every single song except for Pick These Hoes Apart with Kodak Black. It was awful.
You like the Nicki Minaj track?
I didn't like. She said,
he
ate my cake, then he suck on my toes. Yes.
Nicki Minaj. My IQ drops about 30 points every time a Nicki Minaj verse.
I like the Future line. I liked his the verse was short, and Rick Ross's verse was pretty good.
Rick Ross can rap,
but I liked Future's verse because it didn't have a lot of autotune on it. And I showed Jalen doesn't really like Future because he says that he just uses autotune, whatever. I said no. I said he's not using a lot of autotune here. Mm-hmm. He can actually rap. So I like that. One of the reasons I thought it was influential, it built hype for JCole's album because
Nas.
Nas
album done.
The Kent Jones verse. Everybody knows Kent Jones from Hola, ¿Cómo está? He said, Konnichiwa. He had the best verse on the album, hands down.
What?
Yes.
Not Big Sean?
Stop.
Big Sean's verse was great.
Big Sean can be great, is what you meant to say.
No, his verse on the song with Kendrick, who could normally eat people alive, who said that who was calling everybody out on Control, Big Sean's verse. Yeah. Big Sean came back and said, "Oh no, you're not going to turn me into a hashtag again," and like came with a good bar.
He had the line. He said, "What did he say? Something about beat your ass." black and blue, they can't even tell. He said, fuck you if you racist. I'll beat your ass. Black and blue can't tell what fuck you're racist. No, it was good. But Kent Jones was a singer. I walked into work and Jalen's playing it in the back. I said, who is this? And I look. He's like, this is the last song, or this is the last rapper. It's got to be Kent Jones. And I was like, no, dude, he's a singer.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up. The dude said, just listen to the verse. It was awesome. So that's why I said that was a top 10. In success-wise, it was on the radio.
Major Key is a big song.
Yeah. Jay-Z, which I don't want to talk about Jay-Z because I'm not a huge fan, and people crucify me for it.
You should be crucified. That's New York's Jesus, right next to Biggie.
Okay. But that's why I put it on there. And really the only song that I skip repeatedly if I listen to the album is the Kodak Black song. It's so bad. And Jeezy usually can deliver a good feature just as bad as Kodak Black.
I would rather listen to...
I would so bad I made that pussy fire. It's so bad. No wonder he's going to jail for 30 years.
I would rather listen to that on a loop than hear Nicki Minaj even breathe on the track. That is how much I dislike her verses.
Okay.
But I will say...
Nicki Minaj is the new Lana Del Rey.
Oh my... No. She is far worse than Lana Del Rey. You can put Starboy interlude on and put Lock Me in a Room. I'll cry a lot. I'll beg you to let me out. But I'll listen to it. But I like Tourist off that with Travis Scott and Lil Wayne. Love that. Which, that got leaked.
Yeah, it did.
But without the Lil Wayne verse on it. And I thought it was going to be on Birds, but it wasn't.
That's because Travis sent DJ Khaled that verse. I don't think they've ever even met.
They probably... I think sometimes with major label artists, there's too many hands that get a hold of stuff. So a lot of stuff gets leaked a lot quicker. But I like Tourist. Love Major Key.
Yeah.
I
like the one with Kent Jones was cool because it had Fat Joe was in it, Busta Rhymes was in it. I think Fabulous was in it.
Yeah, that was
a good line. He had a good few lines in that.
Yeah, when he's not singing like an asshole. Okay. But I liked the Big Sean and Kendrick Lamar song. That was good too. So it wasn't. I respect your opinion.
Okay,
I'll say that.
We'll move on to your next one.
The other one I had was the Free Black project.
Okay, I didn't really listen to that. But go ahead.
First of all, I was really excited for Party Next Door's album, and then when it came out, P3's was kind of underwhelming.
I didn't listen to it, so that probably speaks to that.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he had to give all of his great songs to Rihanna and Drake, you know, because Drake was trying to smash, and he told Party, he said, "Listen, if you give work to her, I might get that ass." He didn't. He didn't get that ass.
No.
He got rejected.
Yep.
That was sad.
He got a billboard for it.
He got a platinum plaque, though, I'm sure.
Who cares?
No,
I'm not even going to say it. Go on.
But yeah.
I about fucked up and ruined all of our reputation we have here. Go ahead.
But the Free Black project, I love that album because I think he's almost a hybrid between Frank Ocean and Party Next Door.
I call him... before I've listened to a few singles.
Yeah.
I used to call him Fake Drake.
Damn! I think if you listen to that whole album... sit with it. I think there's some really good singles off of there. But... and also, whoever's doing his artwork, bravo. Because this is one of the dopest...
Yeah, with the bear?
Yes, and he's barefoot.
I hope it's real.
It probably isn't, but that's still cool as shit. Problems is on there. That's a big single. Check that out. PRBLMS. The only thing I hate is the way he spells his name.
Yeah.
Lack. But it makes sense because he's from Atlanta. So, but yeah, very moody album. And if you're this neo trap that Bryson Tiller, that Tory Lanez sound. Tory Lanez is another honorable mention. I would have thrown him in there too. But if you take all the skits out,
I'm not a huge fan of him at all.
I respect your opinion.
It's gonna end up like the great debates we saw this election season.
You terrible, Jake. You terrible. Show us the emails. Sorry.
Are we moving on?
Yeah, we're moving on.
Okay.
Free Black, great project.
Black America, again, our review of it speaks for itself.
Yes.
Super influential. I said it had the perfect balance of content and delivery. We mentioned in it, if the youth would really listen to it and learn. I mean, I can't think of another rapper I would use the word sage. I mean, guy's wise. He's been around. He's around a lot of influential people who have remained influential for a long time.
Yeah.
So he's seen a lot. He has a large base of experiences.
He was the first. Without knowing too much history or digging too far back, he's one of the bigger artists that came out of Chicago first too.
Yeah.
Which I think speaks a lot, and I think he influenced people like Chance.
Yes, definitely.
Who have a more positive message.
Me and Jalen talk all the time that a Chicago album would be awesome.
Yeah, they've got some major talent coming out of there.
Just an awesome album. It could really change a lot of people's views on the way they view societal issues, and just a great project.
Elzhi's album is a bit like Common's because he's from Detroit. Elzhi's from Detroit, and he's been around a long time, and he's also on that like inspiration and also able to rap his ass off. So, and Black America again should have also been another one on there. Like I said, we just got hit with so much music. Like it was like great. It was great. Yeah, love December.
All right, next one.
I got Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying.
That's actually my next one too. So
we can do like a joint talk about this one. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Cudi. And this made me feel like all the not the stunts, but when he went away for his mental health.
I don't think it was a stunt.
I don't either. Especially after you listen to the album, because he's really talking about some shit that he went through. Yeah. Like I felt like there was a lot of victory in the songs. Like if you go to the 5th track, what's it called? All In.
That one was a single actually.
All In. I didn't even hear that one. I didn't hear many of the singles, but I listened to Frequency, and I told Jake, we should call you Drake. Maybe we'll get more clicks. Yeah, I was telling Aubrey here. I was telling Jake I wasn't a huge fan of Frequency, but this album as a whole, it's put together so well, and he's got the psychedelic instrumentals. Yeah, like he's still on his shrooms and acid, but he's not going over the deep end with the vocals.
The only song that I just absolutely don't like is "Swim in the Light." It's too repetitive. I don't know. I didn't like it at all. Which at first I was like, here we go. Hakeem has said it to me before. Cudi is awesome at putting out fire singles in the shit album. So Frequency was out, and I liked it when it came out. And then Swim in the Light started, and I'm thinking, here we go. I said, this is Speeding Bullet to Heaven all over again. And
I liked Releaser.
Yeah, it was good.
I liked Releaser a lot, which at first I didn't like because I thought kind of like what you thought about Swimming in the Light, where it was a bit repetitive. Mm-hmm. But again, I think the instrumentals and Cudi has this like kind of like where he just kind of like mumbles and while that's not always the strongest point of the song and it can be kind of a crutch, the atmosphere he creates with this album is packaged together really well. Yeah. And it's not done to the point where it's excessive or where you think he can't make great songs, because like By Design's a great song. I've been telling everyone don't fuck up the feng shui since I've heard that freaking song. And I like Baptized in Fire more.
Awesome.
I told you at first that I liked Through the Late Night more.
Yeah, I like this one better.
They're equal, but I like this album more, so I think eventually Baptized by Fire might trump it a little bit. Yeah, and even Flight at First Sight. There's not really a song in here that I don't like, but Wounds, that song makes me believe more in that he's been struggling with his mental health, and he overcame something by putting this album out, and it's the thing that I love about like Man on the Moon Part 2 is one of my favorite albums of all time. No. I played it for 3 months straight.
This is the thing. I did not like Kid Cudi. I mean, I had heard Day and Night and thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I actually went to a Logic, Big Sean, and Kid Cudi concert. Logic
Right.
opened, Big Sean, then Kid Cudi. And I think me and Jalen mentioned this on our podcast about the Hamilton mixtape. But when like Logic came out, obviously it was awesome. Big Sean was good. Kid Cudi comes out into this arena. It's slammed, and all these people are hyped up because they just heard Big Sean and then Logic before that. And then Kid Cudi comes out, and his music's kind of more mellow, more quiet. It's more of a mood music than just hype. So he came out and was trying to be loud and kind of match the intensity that they brought, and it was not good.
Yeah.
I hated it. I looked around, there were people looking all pissed off.
No.
And then after that concert is when I went back and really got, and I am a huge Kid Cudi fan now after that than I was before. Even though I probably would never see him again in concert. In an acoustic setting, it would be cool.
Yeah.
Say the Good Music Collective did a concert,
Oh my God.
and Kanye's finished, and John Legend comes out.
I bet 2 Chainz would headline.
Stop. But imagine having John Legend come out after some. He's got a quieter voice, and a quieter sound. Like I heard the same thing about when Odd Future would travel. Frank Ocean would come out and perform, and all those kids that just liked the hard beats.
Yeah, it would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why is this guy here?
Or like the internet.
And if he tried to be loud with his music, it just wouldn't sound good, and it would mess up the way it intended to be performed. But that made me a much bigger Cudi fan after the fact.
And again, like the reason why I played Man on the Moon Part 2 so much is because at the time it was so pertinent to my life. Like some music helps you get over things, gets over trials in your life, and that was that album for me. And I like the hope that this album gives me, and even the title, Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying, like it's like getting over something. Also, it's one of my favorite titles of this year. That's such a sick title.
The only thing that was I wouldn't so much say as a letdown to me.
Yeah.
When before he went in to the mental rehab facility, and he had at some point access to media because he tweeted at Drake.
Right.
And he was mad about what single was that he put out for More Life. That was kind of a shot at Kid Cudi. He said,
Two Birds, One Stone.
He said, you used to be the man on the moon, now you're just going through your phases. Yeah. And Kid
That's
Cudi
such a
tweeted
hard
him
one.
back and said, say it to my face, pussy, whatever. I'm getting out real soon.
Yeah.
Album's coming out, believe me, or whatever.
Right.
So I was like, is he going to have some kind of like more pop sound to try to go after Drake? But it wasn't that at all. No. I thought he was going to try to...
And he didn't diss him or anything. No. Like, also the fact that he made Willow Smith sound good. Yeah. Not saying she's not talented, but
I'd rather heard that than Jaden Smith.
Yeah, I mean, she had an album that came out a couple of years ago.
With my hand back and forth.
No, not that. It wasn't like that at all. It was more like it was more like this. But the way they were harmonizing together, I thought sounded really good. And again, he got 2 Andre features. Yeah. Which nobody's done yet. So, yeah, thank you for this album. I'm going to be playing it for a long time. Yeah. A long, long time. I really appreciate it. What was your...
My next one was the Hamilton mixtape. And I've mentioned this before, just because of how influential it was and the people that it reached. Mm-hmm. It reached people that are big into musicals and big into plays that ordinarily wouldn't listen to hip-hop music.
Or history.
Yeah.
History buffs got a little bit of rap in there.
So it reached an incredible range of different social demographics. The features were impeccable, I thought. I mean, Queen Latifah rapping was fantastic. Andra Day, which I know a lot of people don't listen to her. I don't know if she won a Grammy last year, but she was nominated for a Grammy. She looks like Rihanna a little bit. She has a fantastic voice. Some of the other features, Chance was on it, Andra Day, Alicia Keys. I told Jalen, this is my honest opinion, on that song, Alicia Keys had a better voice than I've ever heard Beyonce have.
Alicia Keys I think she's a bit more of like a traditional singer. I think Beyonce is more of a pop artist to me.
I've never heard Alicia Keys sing like that. I don't know if I haven't, but it didn't touch me the way that it did on this song. And I think part of the reason was she's talking about wanting Hamilton to come home, talking to his superior saying, hey, can he please come home?
And it's a play, so I think there's that embellishment for the play too.
I think that kind of touched me more. The content was more more inspiring to me than like my comparison was of Beyonce's song. So yeah, I don't think I've ever heard something that from her that has been so powerful to me.
Yeah. I think when I was at Winthrop when the Hamilton play first kind of came out, they were like, "Have you heard about this play where people are rapping?" And I was like, "What the hell?" So when I started hearing people like skinny hipster liberal art girls talking about the influence of Hamilton, I was like, "This is gonna be big." And then when this came out, it really proved
when I was trying to plug our Hamilton review, I'm going through on Twitter just looking at hashtags Hamilton mixtape. And the people that I saw were so different than the people I see for the other ones. Like we've talked about before, usually the age demographic for rap is between 18 and 35. It's it's kind of evolving now, but typically it's an African American demographic. But it's usually younger kids, guys mainly more than girls. I know we got Post Malone now, white girl turn up, but it was so cool to see how diverse the people were that I was tweeting to and saying, "Hey, if you like the Hamilton mixtape, we really liked it too. Check out what we had to say about it."
I think that also you could apply that to not necessarily in power of the message or like the drama that the Hamilton mixtape brought, but with Drake, like if you go to his shows, you're gonna see such a wide range of people that are there, like white people, black people, old people, young people, like kids 6 and 7 years old. Not saying they should be at a Drake and Future concert, but they're there. And you've got like grandpas like singing Hotline Bling word for word. That's crazy. Like, so that's something that I really like about music is even if something starts out for just a demographic of people, certain pieces, certain albums have the ability to reach everybody in a different way and touch them in a different way. Like, you and I we're not playgoers. I'm not going to go see a play with you.
My wife's been like begging me to go see, what's the big one? Wicked. When it comes to the Peace Center here in Greenville. I have no desire, but I would be.
But if Hamilton comes, you're gonna go see it.
Yes.
So that's cool. It's something. A piece of art that can attract new audiences is very powerful and great, and something that shouldn't be underrated.
Yeah. So, and that does speak to the power that hip hop is having.
Yes.
It's in the forefront now. We have country artists and hip hop artists collaborating, which is. I mean, I don't prefer.
I don't want to hear that, but I understand what you're saying.
The only one that I can think of that is notable, Jason Aldean did a song with Ludacris, and that's because they lived in the same area of Atlanta growing up.
Nelly did a song with Florida Georgia Line, too.
I don't want to even...
You don't want to hear it, but I'm...
Baby, your song, you made me want to roll my windows now. Auto-tune should never be in country music.
No,
that is
neither should Florida Georgia Line.
But when my wife loves country music, and when I played her the song I was talking about, Ludacris, Burning Bridges, she did not know that it was Jason Aldean.
Wow.
And then she said, I would like him more if he sang this. Because a lot of traditional country fans don't like the new wave of country that is
pop.
emerging.
It's just pop with a southern twang on it. Like,
so the Hamilton mixtape shows how powerful hip-hop has become.
Yeah.
You wouldn't usually see old Wall Street businessmen going to a hip hop concert, but you'll see them in the stands at the Hamilton.
Definitely, or like Broadway and all that stuff. So yeah, it's very cool. My number one was Childish Gambino's "Awaken My Love," and I think whenever I hear a project that shows substantial growth, I have to respect it. The reason why Travis Scott wasn't higher on my list is because even though Birds is infectious, even though I played it like 6 times in a row at work, I shit you not, 6 times in a row, just way back, just going. But it wasn't growth from Rodeo. It was just, it kind of showed kind of a stagnation almost. Childish Gambino is singing his ass off. Yeah. And it sounds good.
Yeah, and he can perform it well too.
Yeah.
That was the thing that I was concerned about when I heard the album. I said, this is good, in my opinion, but can he do it live?
Right, and even though I love Kid Cudi's album, I don't, like you said, I don't know if Kid Cudi can. I don't even think he can really do that kind of singing live.
The same thing with Travis Scott. Travis Scott's album, I've never heard something from him that I really just don't like.
Yeah,
but I've seen videos of him live, and not like some guy holding his iPhone at a concert. He's been on Fallon, and he did
a Young Thug stream too. Yeah,
Colbert loves
that.
Travis Scott. He's been on there twice.
That was
he just did Sweet Sweet and another one I can't remember, and it was a lot different than the album, but it has to be able to perform it. But Gambino can perform it almost to album quality.
Yeah. His vocals are, he's so talented, and I know it's such it was more of a shock to the system at first, but I feel like I've seen this coming for a while, just from the steady transition for the Kawhi portion of Stone Mountain and Kawhi, and when this came out I wasn't super shocked, but I loved the sound, and I think he reminds me more of an Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
Where he's connecting to a nostalgia, he's connecting to funk, and he's speaking on issues in the music industry, kind of the way Chance was on No Problem, stuff like that.
Did you watch his performance he had on Fallon?
Gambino's?
Yeah.
No.
He came out with the pedo stash and no shirt. It reminded me, honestly, of Al Green. When I saw him, I was like, Al Green, you perform with no shirt, just wore jeans with a belt and shoes, and he stood up there and performed with no shirt on. And that's what I thought about when he came up there.
Yeah, that's very cool. We gotta watch.
Need to watch it. It was good. I think he did Redbone.
I think that was one of the biggest songs I think of this year.
And he did it. It was live instruments. It wasn't a beat. Yeah. So you could see all the live instruments and all the musicians there playing with him. Yeah. And I think that makes the music 10 times better.
Yeah. I love, that's another thing I loved about JCole's album as well. That bringing back of live instrumentation. And I'm going to give the credit to Kendrick for this. Like, for this, like, such a huge, you're seeing it much more in mainstream. And I think Kanye's done it a little bit too.
Well, he's always done it.
Yeah.
The thing with him though, he's done it with a lot of voice sounds. Yeah. He will make a sound with his voice and use it as an instrument. Yeah. And fluctuate these different sounds to speak to the power of how big live instruments have been in 2016 in rap music. Did you see Gucci Mane, which is insane? He had a performance with Zaytoven where he rapped over just a piano, and they had a speaker with, it was just the slightest bit of beat just to keep him on beat.
That's awesome.
And he played over a piano. It was like 15 minutes long, and he just did segments off of East Atlanta, Santa, and some old songs.
Everybody's watching.
That's how far this movement has spread. I mean, typically you wouldn't picture Gucci making an album that sounds like Pimp a Butterfly, but he sees that it's popular and used it, and I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was very happy with all this, and 2016 has been a great year for music.
For music, not for humanity.
No, for music. That's why I think we had such a hard December. It's like, just get ready for 2017. Yeah. But here are some great ass albums to take you away. 2016 has been great. 2017 is a coin toss right now.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We're in the South.
To quote the Hamilton mixtape and the Hamilton play,
yes.
One of the lines was, I'm not going to waste my shot. I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not going to waste my shot. So, regardless of what side you're on this whole political battle that we've seen, it's not even a battle, it's a fucking tabloid. But whatever side you're on, I think that, it's obviously you're going to perceive it as bad or good, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as everybody thinks it's going to be.
No. I don't want to get too political on this podcast, but I have high hopes that our system... We gonna see. Yes, we will see. But I have some high hopes that I think we're going to pull through. Yeah. I'm going to say
the systems laid out in the past will prevent any wrongdoings
for the future.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. Jake, do you have a hidden hit this week? This has been a long one. Thank you guys for listening.
I've been listening to a lot. Let me look at my iTunes library as of late.
Okay.
this isn't hidden. I really liked it, and this is a polarizing artist for me. Big Sean is so, like, there's no middle ground for him. He either has something that's amazing, like Detroit Project, probably the best Big Sean. It's a top 10 mixtape for me, period. Yeah. But he's either so good or so bad. He put out a single, Bounce Back, for his new album. It's garbage. It's so... The best thing about it is the video, because I think the video is made tastefully. It's a pretty cool video.
I haven't even listened to it.
But he put out a song called Living Single with Chance and Jeremiah. And he's talking about kind of shaming he has a friend that's married at 24, and he talks about kind of shaming him because, I'm out fucking hoes, and he's talking about all this stuff. And then his friend is like, how can you really live like that? Do you really enjoy living like that? And in the last verse, Big Sean says, no, I really don't living like that. And it's kind of like a grown man's anthem. Like, a grown man that has real responsibilities can't really relate as much to mainstream rap. Yeah. But this, to me, was pretty relatable.
I'm more so Big Sean in the beginning, calling you a sucker for getting married. But that's fine. But no, I'm happy for you.
That's fine.
I'm here more than I am at my parents' house. Still live with my parents. Hey, Mom. It's a good track. We were playing it the other night when we had our Christmas party here. We were pretty drunk.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. My shit of like fucking
Project
X the next morning.
But it was a good track. I agree. You either like it or you don't. But for me, I'm gonna go with S on Your Chest by Injury Reserve. This is more of the laid back jazz hip hop albums. Very, very dope track. Would recommend it. S on Your Chest.
All right, guys, this has been our last podcast for 2016. Hopefully 2017 will bring us some cool projects, as really just December has brought us. We got like a year's worth of music in a month, and they analyze it in like 15 days.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think 2017 is going to be a big year. January is always kind of slow.
Yeah,
but I think we have a lot to look forward to.
And like we said, we're going to do Ab-Soul and Kid Cudi on our first few episodes in January to catch up from what we've lacked in December. We may do Haji if the influx of music is slow. Yeah. So.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening, and please share our podcast and like us and tweet us at HLHPO. That's our Twitter. And thank you guys for listening.